Direct 2025. Let me just load up my page here. How do I even do this? I forgot. I haven't done a live stream in like a year. I think I did it around this time of year. I'm just searching myself up on the laptop so I can load up the chats. We got one person in here so far. I hate using laptops. Okay, here we go. So I wanted to do some extra notice, but I was out during the day with my little girl. And we talked about, there's a volume key here. I'm going to turn this volume down. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So we got 4 people in here now. Let's see this chat build up here. Let's chat with some of you guys. I haven't been on the live stream over the Christmas holiday with Back 40. And, oh, there's Timon. Hey, man, how you doing? Nice to see you. Got my coffee cup here. No drinks, no gin and tonics tonight, guys. Sunday night, gotta work tomorrow. Gotta deliver to the smokehouse. But, yeah, I got a little Bailey's in here. This time I bought a bottle, but usually I make the Bailey's myself. And I just take 7 ingredients in the blender. Condensed milk, cream, vanilla extract, almond extract. I never have that though, so I never put that in. And a tiny bit of chocolate syrup, and some instant coffee, and of course the whiskey, right? But it doesn't come out as good as a store-bought product, but it is a lot cheaper, I must say. So, what's this pop-up message here? Oh, welcome to the live chat. Okay. And I'm like frozen here on my laptop. Let me try and refresh this here. So, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good Christmas, a good New Year's and whatnot. For New Year's, I ended up, well, for Christmas to begin with, I usually have Christmas dinner at my parents' place. And it's gotten smaller over the years, not as much family members coming over, and my mother makes all kinds of food and stuff. And not much of the food as from before, because it's a lot of time, you know, a lot of different drinks. My parents are from Trinidad, so there's a lot of cultural food there that we prepare for Christmas, and it's a big time to celebrate. And we even had a band come over and perform a few weeks ago. It's the type of music is called parang. It comes from the Spanish parandera, and it's with the small guitar. And when you make the bass drum with the well, they didn't have this instrument, but you have like a wooden cube, and then you put a stick on it, and you put the string on, and you pluck the string. It's like a bass drum. They had more like electronic stuff, other manual instruments. But yeah, they came over and played at the house. And then New Year's, I just was up in Campbellford, Ontario, which is about 2 hours, well, about an hour and 45 minutes northeast of Toronto. And I was up at a friend's cottage, and they just had a bit of a celebration there, a bunch of people over there, some locals. Some people drove up, some family from the city, and I cooked a big 3 pound steak, cooked some sweet potato and some asparagus on the grill, and had a few drinks and enjoyed the outdoors. I haven't been up there in like 8 years, and it's on a river. There's the Trent River, and there's a big island, and it takes about, I don't know, maybe an hour to navigate around the island. And they're on a small channel. So when you look over, it's just like it's not really much forest, not much trees, but there's a bunch of reeds on the shoreline, and a little different from the typical setting that I like summertime. The rocky lakes and everything, but it's really nice there anyway. And big bay window, you get a nice view when you're eating breakfast in the morning and whatnot, right? What's cool is they have a little off-road pit just beside it, and it looks like whoever owns some of the property over there, they built up some property on there, so you can't access the whole pit. It used to be a little bit of a ridge. Sometimes you could scoot up that if you had a vehicle that was light enough, and then there's like a mini lake that forms in the spring down at the end. Robert Blacksmith, how you doing, from Vancouver, aka Vancouver? Yeah, I was just watching a video about that in Vancouver, how it's really going to crap because of all the drug use and everything. It's getting too expensive, and then people with the money, they're all piling out of there, and that's obviously happening to a lot of very liberal areas. People are moving right out. Who just said, Len's keeping busy, congrats. Yeah, we got, what, 2 out of 3 Canadians here in the chat. How many people got in here so far? We got 9. Okay. So yeah, let's start, let's get into it. Let's recap the last year. Last year was very quiet for the first half of the year. I did do some wood during the winter because it was milder, and then spring came around. I just got really busy, and this year was really busy with the scrap metal and the junk removal and stuff. And it's praising the Lord for being able to get so much business. And it's funny, all that business comes. You got it. Actually, every year I think about how I have to spend money and do stuff in the spring, and get the trucks fixed or get machines fixed. Buy some stuff, work on the boat, blah, blah, blah. And I thought I didn't have much to do this year, but it turned out to be a bunch anyway. But I was happy to take care of a bunch of things. And I just didn't do much wood because I got so busy. And another problem is my schedule has been off. And you know what? That reminds me, I just forgot to say I'm celebrating 4 years on YouTube as of January the 12th. That's what I was going to put in my thumbnail picture. But yeah, that 2021 year when I started the channel was a pretty turbulent year for me because I started doing the channel and I had a bit of a good success at the beginning. And I'll tell you a story about my first videos that I uploaded. But anyways, yeah, so that year, after learning the editing process in the summer of 2021, I got right into it. And I was like, okay, this is a whole new door opening up for me where I can actually edit my videos. Whereas if you use the YouTube editor in your YouTube studio, all you can do is you can add captions, you can add some music, but that's it. You can't play around with the volume of the music. You can't, fade out the ends and stuff like that, or at least I don't know. And you can't do anything other than basically cut parts out of the video. So that's how I was actually filming. And when I first started, I was trying to just do one take in the whole video, right? And then so videos that I uploaded first, I went and I chopped them down and cut out the parts that I didn't want in there. And so that summer I learned the editing process, so I got right into that. And when I get into things, sometimes I just get right into it and I go the whole length. Same thing with like tree ID and learning all the trees. I just got right into it. I didn't have to push myself to try and learn what's going on. I just did it. So not only that, the problem was I was getting a lot of wood dumped off in my yard. And usually I don't get wood dumped to me because for some reason these tree cutters in Toronto, and there's tons of them, there's tons of trees coming down, they have no problem getting rid of the wood. And it's not necessarily guys who are coming from up north who need the firewood for heat and coming down to the city and picking it up, right? So I still don't know how they get rid of this, all this volume so much. Sometimes they leave it on the curb, they put an ad on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, which is like our Canadian Craigslist. and even on the curb, people come pick it up and whatnot. But yeah, I just had so much wood coming in that I picked up, and I had a lot of wood that was coming in. I had 30-yard bins coming in from the spring. I had, I think, three 30-yard bins come in, and then I had other guys coming with dump trailers and dumping wood in the yard. So I was actually staying up till like 4, 5, 6 in the morning splitting wood, and I'd even have to do that just to empty my truck because I'd have a load of wood in the truck, and I have no room for it, right? And that pile of wood was, and you guys have seen it in one of my videos, the trailer video that I did for like a summary of what the channel is about. And the pile was probably about 85 feet long. It was about I'd say about 10 feet wide average, and it was 3 feet high. So it was quite a lot of wood in there, and it was a nightmare. So I just got on a bad sleep schedule. I was getting 4 hours of sleep every night at that time, and then after like a year and a half or so, I just couldn't do it anymore. My body said, no, you're gonna get your sleep. So I'm still running like a late schedule, and I put in a lot of hours during the day, usually 12 hours at work. But this year, my resolution is actually to get into the day, like starting earlier, because it's better for me with my other businesses. Sometimes I miss phone calls with good scrap metal pickups, and it's way easier than firewood, guys, way easier, and better money pound for pound than the firewood. And sometimes I get stuck with stuff on my truck if I got to take the truck to the wood yard when I'm working in the afternoon, or into the evening, or it might mess up my next day if I can't unload the truck, right? So I got to change my schedule. I've never been an early person. I've never been a late person. I've never been a person who sleeps like too long, 10 hours, anything like that. So I kind of have my foot in the door at doing things a little bit better now, right? Also, when you're self-employed, that can kind of take its toll on you too, and you get into a different schedule. You get into your own schedule, is what I mean to say. But I guess one reason why I was starting late, even before I got into firewood, was when I started doing scrap in 2007, and I was going to bed like 12 o'clock, and I used to think like, oh, people go to bed 1 o'clock, 1:30, that's too late, man. I used to get up 8 o'clock, get out on the road by 8:30, fill my pickup truck with scrap in 2 hours, and that was enough for the day. I might have maybe a call to do or something, but it was a regular routine for me. And then in 2008, which was another good year after a slow winter, because winter's slow in that business, 2008, it was even better than '07. And I was making like good money from day one when I started. So I was really happy about getting the shop. I was really happy about buying a nice vehicle, a '91 4Runner that had no rust on it. And I bought a diesel pickup that same year. And so it was, when things crashed, it crashed immediately in 2008. Some people are like, I lost my job February 2009. The scrap, it was done like basically in the end of September, sorry, middle of October. And then I started coming into work late because I didn't have anything to do. But fast forward to 2025 here, I got to start doing things different. In terms of editing, I'm behind 3 months. That's because I started doing a lot of wood last September, because it's cooler. Like this summer was pretty hot that just passed, so I couldn't really do anything in the summer, right? And I can't work late now because of the 7 p.m. bylaw. I have to shut down the machines. And if you guys have seen my videos, I've had a problem with the neighbor complaining about me going after 7, right? So that kind of helps me. It keeps me from staying out too late in the wood yard, and I can come home by, let's say, 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30, 10 at the latest, and then I come home, do like chill out for a bit, do some video editing, and then go to bed late. But like I said, I got to change that. Colleen's here. Thanks for the congratulations. James Bainton is here. Nice to see you on a live stream. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been like a year, and I've been kind of out of the loop with YouTube for a bit anyway, right? And yeah, so now I've been trying to work on my videos, and the last couple of months I've been doing the videos or editing, and there's been times where there's a few days between where I actually like edit a video, and that kind of hurts me in terms of catching up. So I am actually 3 months behind to the day. But yeah, I'm gonna be on it now. There's no videos that are really gonna hold me back with editing time. Like I'm gonna be working on the tree ID video for this year, and that's a really interesting story about the tree ID. I'll get to you that about that in a minute. And also my first YouTube uploads. It's a funny story with that. But yeah, the tree ID video, it's going to take me a little bit of time because I like to do the intro with the music and all the clips and everything. And yeah, it's really fun doing that series. And it's fun going up into Muskoka, which is like Ontario's premier cottage country, during the fall colors when all the maples turn red, and enjoying the sights, the waterfalls, and everything, you know. But yeah, Happy New Year's, guys. Um, Going back to my first YouTube uploads. So, for some reason, when I was doing some like a 40-yard bin load with 6 full cords, I decided to just put it on video and keep it in the archive. I'm not sure what year that was. That could have been like maybe 2018 or something, I don't know. So I had vertical format videos. That's before someone actually told me to film horizontally so you get a better video instead of like the short style, portrait style, right? So I went up to Georgetown, which is northeast of Toronto, and I delivered the 6 cords. And I filmed 3 different videos. And it was a sequence of me opening up, getting there or whatever, opening up the doors on the bin and then dumping the wood, right? So that's when YouTube Shorts just came out, and I had no idea whatsoever what YouTube Shorts was. So I look at my statistics for the videos coming in, or for the views coming in off those videos. I had another video as well, and I believe that's basically when, I can't remember what video I did first. I think maybe it was one of my other firewood drying videos. Not the main one that got a lot of views. But I remember putting up 5 videos. And so I noticed that one of them got 125 views in the first day, or 135 views. So it's like, wow, how did that happen, you know? And later I find out it was uploaded as a YouTube Shorts video. So that was months after that I realized, and maybe a couple months anyway. And then I remember looking back in YouTube Studio to look at the stats, and then I saw that that video, despite it getting all the views, I lost 6 subscribers, right? So I was like, what the hell happened there, you know? So because I was unfamiliar with, you know, the kind of politics that happens with people when they view YouTube, what they want to see, what they want to see, or what they want to hear, don't want to hear, you know, swearing versus not swearing, blah blah blah. I didn't know, you know. I thought just upload whatever and people have fun with it, you know. I was worried about haters before and people, you know, not enjoying the content of the video or whatever, right? But whatever, I just said I'll upload it. So what was happening was the customer there, I was talking to him as the truck driver Larry was opening the doors on the 40-yard bin. So we're just kind of, that's the first time I met this guy. I'd sold him wood before, and this is my first time meeting him. And this guy actually looked like Jim Leahy from the Trailer Park Boys show, which is a very popular TV show here, right? It's like a cult classic, and even now, like, those guys have a Hollywood movie coming out, or it just came out recently, right? What's it called? Something about kitties or something. I can't remember what it is, right? But that show got so popular that Snoop Dogg, Tom Arnold, and the comedian Doug Benson were on it for a few episodes. Let's just check if anybody else is in here quick. No, nobody else yet. Yeah, so me and the customer are standing there, and we're just kind of catching up, getting to know each other after talking on the phone for some time. He'd already taken a couple loads of 6 cords, and I told him that I was going to buy a firewood conveyor in close by. So he asked me what's my background. My parents from Trinidad and Tobago, which is in the Caribbean, and it's the last island in the Caribbean archipelago close to Venezuela, right? So he said something about his brother-in-law was from Trinidad, and he grew up in Milton, which is west of Toronto. And he says, oh, people weren't nice to him there because he's a person of color, right? And he said a bunch of yeah, there are a bunch of effing redneck monkeys there, right? So I think what happened was some people heard that and they didn't want to hear that, you know. So I think that's why I got the unsubscribers. But everything's a learning lesson, you know. Me, I'm just neutral. I'm like, whatever, man. You know, I don't care if I heard that myself. You know, anybody talking against me and my origins, like I don't care. I don't let that stuff faze me because I think the whole identity thing, if it's not supposed to matter, then it's not supposed to matter, right? And I'm above all that, you know. What was I going to talk about after that? Because I skipped back to that. And James is asking, how's the chainsaw? Um, yeah, chainsaw is running pretty good. I have a problem with the little lever that holds the choke into place. And I'm kind of squinty here. This light is a little bit bright, but yeah, the lever pops out. So every second time I start the saw, I gotta pop the cover and I gotta put the lever back in. It's funny because I bought that saw. It's going on 5 years now. I've had it 4.5 years, and it replaced my other MS261C that I bought brand new in 2013. I had two saws. One was in steel 023 and the other one was an 032. And they both died because I didn't know about putting the proper steel oil into the gas. So they both burnt out the piston rings, I guess, right? And they died when I was actually finishing off two 40-yard bins full of firewood. There's one with firewood and there was one with boiler wood. And I was trying to get these two bins sold because I was going on a fishing trip and I wanted to get the money for it, you know? So I went out and I bought the MS261 at that time. And then in 2020 is when I replaced that. And it was still in good condition. There was a couple like loose parts on it. There's like one of those plastic guides in it or whatever. And the dogs were a little loose and dogs were a little funny on them. And I didn't really replace anything except the clutch. And what else? Maybe one of the bearings for the the main sprocket on the like behind where the clutch is, that bearing as well. So I didn't have to really spend any money on it. And then now I got this new one, and I can't believe it's been 4.5 years since I got it. And it's all not gummed up with the sawdust, but like it's all discolored and everything. And my bar is always gone. Like I never seem to hit metal, but the paint just seems to peel right off. There's another tree cutter used to be down the end of the road from the old wood yard, and he came by the wood yard one night. He had moved out of the area, but he showed up there one night, and I was talking to him, and he was looking at the saw. He's like, "Oh, you've been hitting a bunch of nails." I'm like, "No, I just got this bar like 2 days ago or something, right?" I don't know. That always happens to me. A whole bunch of paint goes from the bar. But I love that saw. I just put out a video recently, if you guys didn't see it, about how the steel MS261C is the best chainsaw pound for pound, and I stand by it. I would like a 500i, but that's if I really have to go into some big stuff, because the 261C is good enough for everything. You could call it a little slower if you want, but I don't get all kinds of big diameter all the time. Sometimes you guys see me with a lot, and it looks like I have a lot, and I don't mind just trudging through and just using that saw that I have because it seems to do the job, right? If I have to sharpen it before I'm doing that big stuff, then I will, right? Especially if I'm taking some of that big stuff that's cut really short, like 12 inches or under, and then I got to cut it twice again so I can make smoker wood out of the big giant coins, right? So very happy with that saw, man. Yeah, snow. So up north in Muskoka, where I do the tree ID video. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about, the tree ID video. Um, that snow. Well, first, like what, a couple weeks ago, we got tons of snow up north, and 80 centimeters. What would that be? I don't know, like maybe 30 inches or something like that. And it got dumped hardcore, hardcore. And then just over, was it, what day was it? It was like 2 days ago. They got hammered again. They got another maybe 25 inches or something, right? So they're snowed out, like, because you have Georgian Bay, and then the coastline gets hammered with all the moisture that comes off there. And the problem that with the first snowstorm was the water was still warm, and I mean the water is cold because it's Georgian Bay, but I mean warm for the time of year. And then a cold front came in and created all that snow, and it closed down the main highway that goes north to go around the Great Lakes. It closed that down for like I don't know, was it 3 days or something like that? And then we got this other storm that came. But yeah, Toronto, we had a bunch of snow like from the week before. We actually had a white Christmas for once, and then it thawed for a bit, and then it rained. So now it's like all gone, but there was a dusting like last couple days. So there's a bit laying around here, but not much at all. The tree ID video. Well, let me finish up with James here. I have the same thing on my 261. All the paint is long gone. Yeah. Um, I wonder if I should try a 20-inch bar on that thing. You can put up to that too as well. But you know what? That's just more teeth to sharpen, so maybe not, right? Um, let's see. Um, Ty W. I got a steel great saw. Yes, it is, man. You know what? The main thing is, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Chandos Lake, you meant to say, not Shandon Lake, right? You're the guy I was talking to up in Apsley there. Is that not you? But yeah, the thing I like about the steel chainsaw is always starts. The only time it hasn't started is because something that, like I said, with my choke thing, I had a problem. And there's one minor thing, but I can literally say that the chainsaw does not have a problem starting at all. Like, it's so reliable, man. You know? And I don't like small engines at all. Everything I've had have been has started good. Like, even my Spico log splitters, and the first one I bought was in 2014, and it pretty much always starts. I think there's one time I needed a part to get it to start, and there's other times where it seems like it'd lock up and you'd have a lot more compression, and you just keep pulling it for a while, and then it starts, right? But I just hate playing around with small motors. And I've been around other guys who have steel chainsaws and they don't start. But well, one of those, I should only say it's one guy. It's this Mickey Mouse tree cutter who's never bought a new saw, and he just buys these used ones, and he never changes the air, he never cleans the air filter and everything. And you know, like he has a, what is it, a 362 or 462 or something. And I hate trying to start that thing, you know. And I go to his job sites when he cuts the tree down, or he just does some trimming. I take away the branches and I go in the tree in the truck and I cut down the branches, lay them flatter so that we can put in another load, go back in the truck, cut the branches, lay it down again, and you know, fill up as much as I can, right? But that thing, I'd hate starting it. And yeah, you could step on the handle, put it on the ground, and then pull and try and start like that. But his is just not reliable, you know. So I think that's more attributed to him as opposed to the chainsaw itself, right? Um, okay, so Tim Stout, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, Chandos Lake, Ty W. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be going up there, I guess, in the summer this year because I've been fishing with my summer patterns in the spring, and I learned a lesson one time that you don't do the same thing. And I already knew this, but considering I had gone to spots, I caught big pike. I know what I'm doing. But if I go into spring, even late spring, it's not working. I'm fishing too deep, 20, 25 feet of water. I might have got the odd one here or there. But when I went this spring, my friend got one and it was in an area where I know there's pike too. It is maybe 11 feet deep, right? So I'm going to try the same thing, but hopefully in the summer. It's just that I'm busy in the summer and I can't really do much day trips then, you know? It's easier for me to get out in the spring, right? Because I start going away in the summer and I'm busy working and all this stuff. And you know, even if I have like a day off on the weekend, it's like I'm finishing up late the night before, and I don't have time to prepare. I don't have time to bring or get the boat ready, and go and buy a bunch of food and make food because that's what I do when I go up there, right? I don't really like to buy food. I like to make food. So it's hard for me to get out in the summer, but I'm going to try and do it in the summer because that's when I caught the biggest fish there. Because I used to rent a cottage there in the summer, and that's why I was always there, right? And yeah, so we're going to do that this year. Okay, going back to the tree ID video. So Daniel Atkins, I wonder if he's going to show up here. It's probably about dinner hour now for him because he's in the West Coast, 3 hours time difference. But when I did my first tree ID video, I did it in May, late May of 2021, and the two different sites, I did tree ID at both sites. And I said, it must be really nice in the fall. And Daniel Atkins was like, yeah, take us back here in the fall. So I said, okay, I'll come back here with the fall colors and I'll do another tree ID video. And I'll go to a different site to do the ID. I'll revisit the first two places, which has a waterfalls at one area right beside the highway. And then go north for a bit, go to the town of Huntsville. And Huntsville's pretty cool because there's two lakes. And the Muskoka River is feeding the two lakes, and the river connects the two lakes, and then the town's kind of laid out in between the two lakes, and then you have a lookout on top, like over the southeast edge of town, and then you can see the old train station down on one side, and it has all pine trees on the one side, and it's like it's rock, but it's more like it's sand on the rock, and you can't really see the rock too much, but the trees are growing on it. The pine trees are all groomed, and you can go and sit on there and overlook the town. The river's way down there below you, and you can watch the sunset over the town. And then the other side of the lookout, you can go and you can see the lake, right? And you get a big expansive view. And then in the north, it's all forest in front of you, and then the background, basically like the ground, it basically elevates as it goes through the forest, and then there's like a ridge on the back, and then there's a couple other hills on the west side where the sun is setting, right? But anyways, so I started going to different spots with to do the tree ID, and kind of it's like nature tourism for me too, you know. So I want to explore this area, so I pick another place with a nice view so that I can go and do the tree ID. So this year, now I have been trying to find a certain lookout that I went to when I was in, I believe that was when I was in high school, not in Scouts. But anyways, you walk through the woods, and you get to a point where it's just a cliff, and it's a lookout, but the rock actually juts out a little bit, so you can walk to the edge of the rock. And I remember walking out, you know, one by one, all the students going out to the edge to look down, you know. And I've been trying to find this place for years, and there's a lot of places that actually look pretty much the same, right? There's at least 2 to 3 places that look almost exactly the same, right? And the only distinction I could remember was there was like a little patch of water. I can't remember if it was towards the left or towards the right, whatever. And there's even another lookout that looks the same. And then Georgian Bay is like way out in the background too. But I don't remember there being one of the Great Lakes like in the backdrop. I just remember the drop. I remember all the forest, and there was a little patch of water, right? So this year, to do the tree ID video, I decided to go look for that. So as usual, I started off at the waterfalls. What I did was incorporated another really nice red maple tree that kind of like the branches kind of grow sideways and stuff, and it's sitting on the edge of the river, and it looks really nice when it turns red in the fall. And then I wanted to go to the Huntsville lookout to get sunset, get some good video there. Unfortunately, I didn't have my friend come with the drone. There's 2 friends that I asked to come with the drone. One guy was busy, and one guy I didn't hear back from. But I wanted to get the drone footage for this video this year because I've done it last couple of years. So I said, okay, after doing the first stop, that's like an hour and a half, maybe an hour 40 minutes from home north to go to that spot, and then Huntsville is another 20 minutes north, and I would end there, right? And I went a little further last year. I went to Arrowhead Provincial Park, and I just went to an area where they have a little river bend. Apparently, there's a lot to see in Arrowhead Park, but I didn't really have time because the guy who showed up with the drone, he met up with me late, and we had to start the day late and rush the tree ID and then go to the lookout in Huntsville. It was actually a little too dark, and you couldn't even see his drone up there. But anyways, so 2 hours, that's basically my limit. I don't even travel past there, right? I've been a little past there once, but that's kind of like my limit. But to go to this new place that I was looking for to revisit as a kid, that was 100 kilometers east, northeast from there, right? So, okay, I'll take that trek and I'll go do the tree ID there. It's a kilometer walk. You park in the parking lot, you walk a kilometer in, and then the lookout's there, right? So I do the 100 kilometers. That's like 62 miles, right? So I'm already 2 hours away at Huntsville, and then I'm doing another 62 miles east northeast, right? I had time during the day too, but I had to really press to get back to Huntsville to get back there for the sunset, because even when I got there last year, I was kind of on time. We were up on the lookout, and the sunset was, you could see the sunset, so it was still bright out, but we didn't get the beam of light shining onto the city. So the city or the town wasn't lit up by the sunset, even though it was still like, a lot of daylight out, right? So I'm like, okay, I gotta go do this tree ID quick, jump in the truck and head back. So I'm almost there to it's called the Lookout Trail. No special name, just a lookout trail, right? I'm probably, I don't know, I think it was maybe 10 minutes, maybe less, to that trail. To my right side, there's this big parking lot, all kinds of people in it, right? Stood out like a sore thumb. So Algonquin Park is this giant nature preserve park, right? You can go camping, canoeing, fishing, everything. You can be in the places close to the highway, like it's already in the bush for one thing, and you can be in the campgrounds that are kind of close to the entrances and this and that. But if you really want to go backwards, like you can go way back in there. I can't remember the size of it, but like Ontario's a giant province. It's bigger than, most states, right? It's probably bigger than, I don't know, is it bigger than Texas? Maybe not, but Ontario's pretty big. It's not even the biggest province in Canada, but Algonquin Park takes up a significant portion of Ontario, right? So lots of people go up there for the fall colors. Anyways, I get to this parking lot and I see this mass of people. So I look and there's a sign that says Track and Tower Trail. So I said, okay, I've heard of that trail. Let me stop here because I'm in an outdoors group on Facebook. And I said, okay, you know what? Let me ask around, see how long the hike is, right? Because it's I could see that the actual position on Google Maps, it's quite far in the bush, right? But I started asking people who are coming out of there how long it takes to walk, and they said like it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I was like, you know what? I'll just start the tree ID here now. So I start walking into the woods, and with my gear on, still warm weather. I'm in a t-shirt. This was October the 5th, right? So I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking and walking. Finally, I get to like there's a lake, right? So there's a part where you have to turn left because I'm going south. I finally got to the spot where you get to the lake and you have to turn left, and then you have to walk a bit that way. Then you have to go south again, and then I think another go west again, and then go south again, and then you're at the trail, right? So I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. Then I get to a part where it's not really a river in terms of where you just see like the flat surface, and it's not a waterfalls, but it's just this portion where you come down off of an elevation, and you're in this kind of valley, and the other side, the shoreline is steep. It's like a rock face straight up, but the water is just barreling through there, and it's all this dropping over rocks as it goes down, right? And it was almost like a rugged spillway instead of like a river, right? Like it's not something that fish would be sitting in, where there's pools that are deep enough where they could hang out or that they could navigate up and down. It was just this water that was just kind of bouncing down the rocks, and then there's a little bridge that I had to cross to go over, right? Okay, so now I'm in it like maybe 40 minutes now. I'm not there yet. I'm like not even halfway, right? Or maybe halfway at that point. So walking. The next thing you know, I start asking people how long does it take, and they're telling me, oh, it's another hour, this and that. So I'm getting really, um, what's the word? Um, when you feel like this is too much, right? Overwhelmed, right? I start feeling like that. Like I can do it if I want, but I'm also watching my timing. So then I start to realize a lot of these people are walking slow, and I'm walking with pace now, right? So I don't really have the endurance, but from doing the firewood, from doing the scrap, like I have endurance now. I'm more of like a sprinter instead of like a long distance runner, right? So I have this endurance because of work outside of whatever my abilities are, right? So I can just keep going and have my mind set to finish the task. So I'm pacing, and then it starts going uphill, and then there's like something like 250 stairs to go up, as well as all this incline that was going up, right? So the journey just got kind of harder. And then so after the uphill battle, there was a couple that I met, and I was talking to them for the last few minutes. So after maybe finally like an hour, I got to the lookout, and the lookout was insane, guys. It was a straight drop off in front of you. It was all forest all around, and then there was one lake off in the distance, and it kind of had like it looked like it was, I don't know, I could just say I don't really remember looking on the map to see what the actual shape was, but if I could say, basically it was looked like it was like a figure eight. Like there was like a one section of the lake, the shoreline kind of came in on both sides, and it came out again, and then it closed off again, and then there was like one little island with a few trees on it, right? And it was when the sun was setting. So this is the time that I should have been in Huntsville, but now I have an hour's hike to get back to the truck, and then I have an hour drive over to Huntsville. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not making it. And I was celebrating like Rocky when I got to the lookout, right? And I was like, okay, this is a long walk, but it was totally worth it. So um, I didn't stay long because the sun was setting, so it's going to be dark, right? So the couple that I met, they're from Toronto, and they started walking back, but then I started walking back too. I spent about maybe 12 minutes there, maybe 15 at most, and then I started to head back. So they got ahead of me, but then I caught up to them, right? But then they started rushing themselves, and then maybe 8, 10 minutes in, I realized I'm walking a certain way, and it was like the wrong way, right? So I think I had to turn north from there, and I had to started going east. So then I turned back so I could go north, and then I kept going, and I noticed I didn't see the couple as I'm going, right? And they were younger than me, but I swear, like I could walk faster than like almost anybody. You know what I mean? And there was a few people that were still coming out there, and they were gonna be coming back in the dark. But anyways, I should have asked some of the people if they had seen the couple going back, because if they had gone that way, like imagine I'm an hour walk into the bush. At their pace, it might have been like an hour, 15 minutes, maybe an hour and 20, an hour and a half. And, they're so far away from the parking lot. And if they went the wrong way and they kept going that way, then they would have been in deep trouble. So I wonder what did happen to them, right? But as I was walking through, I was doing the tree ID, and then I noticed there wasn't really much different tree species, right? I must have seen like maybe 6 species at most. So I was pretty unhappy with how many or how little amount of species that there was there. So the video kind of turned from a tree ID video to like an endurance hike. But yeah, that's the story for this year's tree ID. I'm glad I didn't drag anybody along with that, because they would have been pissed about me dragging them into the woods like that. But I probably would have just went to the other lookout that was further down the road and just kept it simple. And the thing too is, when you go to a place like that, it's kind of hard to use a drone, because you got all these people walking by. There's probably just a trail in a tiny area where you can go and sit, and then launch the drone from there, and then have the drone do your thing, and then come back, right? And actually last year, my friend, he lost his drone in the woods for a bit, and he busted a propeller, and then he had to dig through his van to look for another propeller, which he didn't think he had on him, but he did actually have it. and that's when we're doing the big scene at the end in Huntsville at the lookout, right? And my drone from before that, from the year before, it actually hit that nice red maple tree, and it fell into the river, and I lost that drone. That's why I don't have mine anymore, right? But it's just a cheap drone that was 350 bucks, which Amazon told me that they didn't deliver to me, and they sent me back my money. So my drone was free, and I got the learning experience out of it, you know? Let's check the chats here. Okay. So yeah, James, how's the cottage life been? Do you do any fishing or what, man? What's going on? Yeah, how's the fishing at Cashabog Lake? I remember seeing that on the map, right? 7,700 square kilometers. I guess you're talking about Algonquin Park. Um, Colleen says, yeah, since I was a kid, I enjoyed firewood, even if it was just the campfires. Guys, I don't know what it is with me, if it's that I was already inclined to be into nature, or if it was my introduction to scouts, because even my uncle used to take us out to like the local parks here. Like we have the Don River and other like feeder tributaries that feed into it, and they have all these parks where you can drive in. They have like paved trails where you can ride your bike on. So we grew up doing that and having fires like when I was a little kid, you know. And then I got into scouts later. But when I got into scouts, and everything about it I just liked. The only thing I didn't like was winter camping, you know. But you get on the trail, even with school. You go on to school trips, and you go to we have um, Courtright Recreation Center is called. It's within city limits, and they have am I mixing that place up with the Black Creek place where they have it set up so like it's like 150 years old. So they have people with the old dress and the old farm implements and the old types of machinery that they used to use, and the wrought iron and the firewood, the fireplace with the big hearth, the blacksmith, the Clydesdale horses and all that stuff, and everything about that. Like I was just into it. I'm not a very modernized type of person. I'm very old school. I'm very traditional, and I really enjoyed doing anything that was out in the woods. But Scouts is more like my opening to actually doing stuff like camping and fishing and making fires and all those things. I was right into the fire and everything, right? So, like I said, my uncle, we were doing fires in like the early 80s, so I was already open up to that, right? But yeah, here I am today, and how I got back into it, because I was in Scouts for a couple of years, and then in '98, a friend asked me to come camping on a tiny island, and that's the lake where I go to, where I go fishing every year, and I produce a couple of videos. And yeah, the first time I went there, uh, caught fish, was using the leeches. We ran out of leeches. I said, I'm going to swat the dragonflies out of the sky with the oar, put them on the hook, and catch fish. And a friend of mine said, you can't do that. And I said, watch this. And I did it, right? So I went back there on my own 3 different times that summer. And I went at least twice, 3 times every year after that. Now it's usually just about twice. Not as easy to go up there, especially if I'm not camping. And I have to pay for accommodations, which is still very cheap. And then I got the boat, and I got the truck, right? Back in those days when I started, I didn't even have a car, I was arranging trips to go up there, right? But yeah, so speaking of the lake where I go, if you guys didn't see my video on the smallmouth bass fishing, I cleaned up this year, man. Cleaned right up. I went late in the year. I didn't get there. The first trip was middle of August. I believe it was August 13th I went. And then the next trip was September 18th. And the first trip, guys, it was like crazy, man. Like all kinds of smallmouth. Um, wasn't anything too big. Maybe 4.5 pounds at the most, but all kinds of like nice eater size. Maybe a little bigger than that, like 3.5 pounds, and not too many small ones, like it has happened, right? Bunch of small ones, yeah, small largemouth. And the second trip wasn't as good, but it was still pretty good, And I had this rock bass where his belly looked like he swallowed a golf ball. Like I've never seen a fish with a giant round gut proportion the way that rock bass his belly was. It was insane, man. Like it was totally disproportionate compared to the fish's body. You know, it was August, so it wasn't a spawning fish, right? And yeah, I was very happy, but I wasn't in the cabin this year. And usually I'm in the cabins, but the landlord said that he's not renting out the cabins for that season. But I think things have changed, and I'm kind of like scratching my head wondering if I heard right. Because when I was there last time, he said, yeah, the cabins are open up next year, right? I'm pretty sure he was saying that. I was kind of rushing to get out of there and get home because it was evening time. It was there the last day. And he was kind of far when he was talking to me too, right? But I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But I think what happened was because there's the cabin on the hill, there's the boat launch there, and then his cottage is the first cottage beside the boat launch, right? So when I pull up there, I have to launch the boat. You know, I do my little intro video for the intro clip for the video, and I think he saw me out there sulking and looking at the cabins and saying that it's too bad I can't rent them anymore, right? He might even been able to hear me from there, right? Because sound travels when you're out there, you know. And then I was hanging out with Stan on the last day before I left, and one of his buddies like, "Let's go fishing." And this guy's big time drunk, right? And there's some yahoos up in there and stuff. So maybe the owner of the cabin saw me with this guy, and like, oh, this is who he's got to hang out with now when he wants to go fishing, right? He's kind of stuck in that circle now with the local yokels, right? So I don't know if it was that or the fact that he saw me, sulking over and not being able to use the cabins or whatever. And he changed his mind and he said, okay, yeah, you can rent the cabins again, you know? So, I mean, the cabins, $100 a night. That's a very cheap price. I've been very grateful. And I said to myself, every good thing comes to an end. And there's a lot of people that are in my life um, that they're older, and whatever connection I have with them, whether it's business, whether it's rental, even with my 40-yard bin delivery driver Larry, like that guy's out of commission, right? So there's going to be people who are they're in their 60s and stuff, and they're going to be giving up on what they do, right? So even like with Stan the Bass Man, he's 65 now, so he's got a problem with his leg because he got burned up pretty bad in a fire one time, right? And he almost lost his leg too. But yeah, he can't really handle in my boat now. He's still pretty able-bodied, but like he likes to go out in his boat, right? I don't know. Maybe next year I'll just bring a chair because like I could even leave my boat home and go in Stan's boat, but I want the speed. I want my own boat. I want to do my own thing, right? I want to stay in my own place too. So even though I'm saving money, staying with a friend, I'd still like to, do my own thing. But what I'm lacking from going into the cabin is being able to have my own fire there. I could have a fire in the back with Stan, but what's better than having a fire in the woods is having a fire in front of the lakefront. And then there's a propane barbecue. Last time I brought my own charcoal, and I used Stan's charcoal. It's like a big steel barbecue, right? But you have to use charcoal. There's no propane hookup or anything like that. So I have my own homemade charcoal, and I was cooking with that, right? So it's just nicer to be able to start your dinner by turning on a switch and you get the heat instead of having to put kindling on the fire or into the barbecue, getting it going. And it took a while to get going too. Then put the coals on, get the coals going and everything, right? That took like almost an extra hour to get dinner started. And what else am I missing? Eating my meals on the deck right in front of the lake with the sun setting in front of you. So there's a number of things that I'm missing by not going into the cabin. Let me get back to going back to the chats here. Yeah, James. Yeah, you should bring your splitter up there, man. And we got to have you come into the yard this year. But I don't know. There might be some competition. I might be getting Andrew from Easton Made to drop me off a loaner at Easton Made Access. I really do want to get one of those things in there and make some videos with it. Want to try that out. Want to do something different. My homemade splitter is kind of slow. It's for perfect wood, ideal wood, straight wood, so I can't use it all the time. And Andrew told me that the Axis is good, even though I get a lot of crotchety wood and uneven wood and this and that. Andrew said the Axis is still good for that wood. So it's kind of like an all-round machine for me. And for those that don't know, I get my wood from the tree cutters in the city, and these trees, because it might be a single tree on the lawn, single tree in the backyard. They're not competing with the forest, so they don't have to shoot straight up and grow skinny. They grow all fat and all bloated all over the place, limbs here, limbs there. The trunk's funny sometimes, right? It all depends, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little bit, but I don't get nice straight wood like all the time, right? I don't buy log trucks either. I've never bought a log truck in my life because I don't need to. There's so much trees coming down in the city here. I got endless supply. Yeah, so I want to get the Easton made axis in, but I want to get on top of my wood this spring, and I want to start getting a lot of wood in there and doing a lot of wood in the spring for the next season, for 2026, 2027 winter, right? I'm at the cutoff point now where I don't store any more wood for 2025 fall, going into winter 2026, unless I get stuff that's semi-dry or dry, then I'll put it aside with all that. And I've just had to move a bunch of wood from some crates because I didn't allow for any space, well, a little bit of space for the year after, right? So I tried to stock up all what I have there for next year because I felt like I was behind this year, right? I only had about 10 cords to sell, 10 full cords. So I had in the back corner, I had 3 rows of crates, 3 high, and about maybe 4, maybe 5 crates out, right? And then I had a section where I had 12 feet to the left of it, beside my container. It was 12 feet and then 5 feet high. I had wood stacked there, and then it was 8 feet going back. And what I did this year was I put a row of crates in the middle, and I created 2 separate areas in the back with the skid, so I could just stack the wood like that. Because the crates, they're too much to load. I don't stack as much wood in the crates anymore. I do a lot of loose filling in the crates, and I just sold a bunch of crates last year as well, and I have another section which I've been filling this year for next year's wood. So that section has a bunch of wood there, and then the original section, I shrunk that down because I put a row of totes in the middle, and then I'm going to be stocking next year's straight wood in that section. But what I started doing was putting some wood, the row going up towards the front of the wood yard, I started putting wood in those crates. But what I did lately is I've been moving some of that wood, and it's not much. There's like maybe, how much is there? Not even half a full cord, right? I moved a bunch the other day. I'm going to move some back and start stacking up that wood, and that's like a cutoff. So then all the crates in front, that front row, is going to be for not this season coming up next fall, but the one after that, right? So everything that I'm going to be selling for this year is kind of in the back right corner, and then to the back left corner, or in the middle of the wood yard, and then all the crates in the front of the wood yard, the front half, that's going to be for the year after, right? But I was also hoping to take a section along the other side of the wood yard and put some wood there. But my problem is now I have all these 55-gallon plastic drums that I got to sell, and they weren't selling this year. And I sold a bunch last year, or all kinds last year. I sold out. I had 10 calls a day where I had to tell people I don't have any more, because I think what happened was the inflation hit, and then people started getting into rainwater collection, and that weeded out the stragglers who might have done it at some point. It's just everybody got into it, everybody bought them, and that was it. So going into winter, the shop's full of barrels. I probably have, how much there? There's probably at least 150 barrels there, and then there's probably almost 100 in the wood yard, right? So even like my supplier, I go get 50 per week, or not 50 every 2 weeks, about that. I haven't even gone there like for the last 3-4 times that he's had barrels, and usually I always go and pick up barrels when he has. But I'm going into winter like overstocked now, so it's very frustrating. Makes it hard to keep my shop in order, because I'm taking up all my parking lot space basically, except for like where I park my truck. And then with all the snow, if I have to go through them in the snow, they're going to be covered in snow. They got ice on them. They start looking a little dirty because they start to pick up, whatever, dust is in the area there, right? And not only that, the stuff inside, like all the soy sauce and the molasses and stuff, they rot. So come summertime, not that I usually have to open up the caps, but at least for the customer anyway. And then when they open them up, it's going to be all rotten smelling inside, you know. So yeah, I don't like having those things sitting around too long. So this year, I'll try and put out some. I'll try and put out more ads so that I can get those sold. And I was even looking at reducing my price this year too, but I didn't need to because I sell them cheap. A lot of people are selling them. They don't have the volume that I have, and then they're selling them for like 25, $30. I go for 20 bucks, right? So I was gonna drop them down to 15, but when I looked at who's out there and who's selling them, there's not many people selling them. Some people are selling them cheaper, but some of those people are further, right? So if somebody needs like a bulk order, then they might, travel the distance. But usually it's mostly people who want like one or two for rainwater collection in the city, and then you have a bunch of people who they need them for their cottage and the floating docks, right? Ontario's like cottage or lake house land of the whole entire earth. Like it's a giant lifestyle here where there's thousands and thousands of lakes, lots of rivers. People have cottages. You can start from even half an hour north of Toronto, and there's a bunch of big lakes that are within reach. And then if you go beyond there, there's all kinds more. And within 3 hours drive, say going, it's all north and east, all between that, right? And I mean, there's some like, I guess you could call Lake Erie. They have cottages. They have cottages in eastern Ontario, right? But like this, the inland lakes, that's everything that's north and east in that entire quadrant, and it's just nonstop. Tim Stout knows about that. Tim Stout says he used to fish up in north of Kingston back in the day. He's been out there fishing, right? PA Trapping and Outdoors. How are you doing? Long time no see, man. Thanks for stopping in. What am I missing in the chat here? Um, James says no fishing, just building, eh? Projects. Yeah, I like that, man. I'm not a builder. Like I've never really learned how to do any type of contractor work. Like woodworking, carpentry, plumbing, heating, all those things I've never learned, guys. I'm involved in all those fields because in the firewood business, I hear about woodworking. I know a little bit about that because I'm in a scrap metal business. I'm coming across all the different items that they use for plumbing, right? Construction. I'm on all the different job sites, so I can see the process, but I've never actually learned how to do these things. So that would be nice. I'd actually like to know how to do, be a carpenter, know how to do like building and renovation and stuff. I like that stuff. Yeah, James, you gotta invite me up there one time, man. Come out, hang out for a bit, have a couple of beers. I could bring the boat. I mean, I could bring firewood, but you probably got firewood up there too. But yeah, let's see. All outdoors. How you doing? Nice to see you here. Thanks for stopping in. What else do I want to talk about here? 8,000 subs. Yeah, so to be honest, I should only be at about maybe 5,500 subs. But I put out a video about a World War II bomber that crashed. It was after the war in 47. I have a giant World War II collection of documentaries, and I actually started a World War II channel as well. If you want to check out my World War II documentaries, they're all videos that are from like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And some of them are good classics because there's content that's in them. Even some of them are from the 70s. And it has some of the people who were in Hitler's close circle in like during the war, like Albert Speer, who's the armaments minister, and the architect who was helping Hitler design the new Berlin, or which he was going to call Germania, right? And he's trying to make it like this world-class city out of Berlin. He was interviewed. Hitler's secretary, Hitler's driver, all these people that were associated to Hitler's inner circle, But so, anyways, this one documentary out of the 3,000 I have, I decided to upload this video about this bomber that crashed in Greenland, up in here in Canada, in like the far, far north. And these guys, these aircraft enthusiasts, went to go and fix the plane up, put new engines in it, and fly it out of there, right? Well, I put the video up, and it was up for over a year. And then all of a sudden, the video went viral, and I was getting up to 180,000 views a day, guys. And then it should have registered copyright. It didn't register copyright through YouTube because YouTube has a screening process when they upload videos. Sometimes they'll catch, most times they'll catch a copyright, but this time they didn't. So all these people started chiming in with the comments. Oh my gosh, I remember watching this on PBS when I was young. Oh, I watched this with my dad. Oh, what a great story. You know how many people told me they actually cried when they saw the documentary because of the outcome? Right? It was insane. The type of passion that I had of people talking about them reminiscing on this video and about the outcome of the video, which I'm not going to describe, but I'll tell you the name of the documentary, guys. I don't know if other people have it on YouTube, but it's called B-29 Frozen in Time. But anyways, so now all this, YouTube's telling me that all this money's piling up for me. But then, of course, it only takes one or two people to spoil everything for you. So some people saw that, they know this documentary, they know it's PBS or whatever, and they're like, oh, you uploaded this video? I'm the YouTube police. YouTube couldn't have any possible scanning of videos to tell that it's copyright, so I need to report you to YouTube for uploading this video. Now, if I upload a copyright video, why is it so much concern for somebody else to go and try and pull it down? That's one thing, right? But anyways, that's what two people did. And then YouTube demonetized my entire channel. They didn't just tell me take down the video, which could have happened. They shut down my whole entire YouTube partnership program, which is because when you're paid from your videos on YouTube, it's not through YouTube, it's through like the AdSense partnership program, right? So my whole AdSense got shut down. I wasn't making money off of any videos, and that happened in September of last year. And for 3 months, which is when you get the most Firewood video views. I'm not sure if spring you get more or fall. I think Joe from Joe's Premium Firewood said that fall is when you get the most. But anyways, so my whole 3 months of that fall, when my videos start to get a lot of views, I lost all the money for that. And it told me that, it said that if I was going to get whatever money that was there, I had piled up $3,600. So I was like, nice. Even though it's not my video, I got $3,600 and counting coming to me soon. But I got cut off, and that was the end of that. So I also built up 3,600 subscribers in 10 days. So that's why I'm at 8,000. So it's not official. But it is what it is, man. A bunch of those people have unsubscribed over time. Everybody else, just sitting there idle in their subscriptions. I'm still in there, right? But most people, they don't chime into this channel for the Firewood videos. Like, there's a few who see the channel and they've liked it and they still stuck around. But yeah, that was a very high and low period for me. You know what I mean? Because think about this: you're not making money for 3 months. In the fall, that's when I make a lot of videos, and I have to upload all these videos, and then do this work for nothing, right? So it's like, do I just stop doing the whole channel, or do I continue? So I did that, right? I obviously am here now, so I just continued, right? But yeah, so now here I'm at 8,000 subs, and then the next milestone would be, 8,000 is not really a milestone. You could say every 1,000 is a milestone or whatever, right? Or call it 5,000. And my next milestone is 10,000. That's when I can actually have like a merchandise store on YouTube, and I can, even print my own hoodies and stuff, and I can sell all that stuff, right? I don't really know the details of that, but that's what I can do as well. So let me check my battery juice here. I got 40%. I'm not going late, guys. I'm not staying up all night, and I'm not going to let the phone overheat and shut off, because that's what's happened before. Anybody who's here and it's like 4 or 4.5 hours in, that's what happens, right? So, yeah, so I guess I kind of recap for last year. I did recap on, or sorry, I did mention my outlook for this year, but I didn't really finish that. I still gotta, oh, hit the like bucket, hit the like button, anybody. I only got 5 likes here, man. Well, my screen is not refreshing. The video's not playing, but the chat's coming in, so I'm not sure if it's not updating the likes, right? But if you just have your browser running, it's gonna update the likes for you. You don't have to refresh the page. Yeah, so for hopefully this spring, I can start doing a lot more wood, and I'm actually pretty happy when I don't do a lot of wood in spring and when I'm busy with the scrap metal business. Oh no, I see. Okay, yeah, I have 14 likes. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, the phone's telling me how much likes I got because I'm live streaming from my phone because my um, Wi-Fi on the laptop doesn't work that well, And I actually have to get internet in here. I haven't had internet for a long time, but I'm just saving money because my neighbor across the hall, he's a pretty good guy. He lets me use his Wi-Fi, right? So I'm sticking it to the man. I used to have two internet connections, one for the shop and then one for here. And I was actually trying to upgrade the one at the shop because it's so slow, but it's on a phone line, so I can't upgrade it, and it's slow. But I don't need it for anything. It's just when you open a YouTube or a browser page, takes a little bit to open, at least when you first start the computer. So I don't really need it there. I don't need high-speed internet for anything that I'm doing there. I'm just doing a couple of knickknacks while I eat lunch or something, or have a little break, right? But yeah, happy to save like what, $50 a month for the last like how many months now, comes in handy with these hard times. And I do want to touch on a little bit of that and the politics and what's coming up for 2025. It's going to be an interesting year still. Uh, we might even have our prime minister resigning as of tomorrow. So I'm just looking out for the news for that. But anyways, so yeah, recap for this year. Um, or not recap, sorry. Outlook for 2025. Yeah, let me do a lot of wood in the spring and really get on things. Hopefully the summer is not too hot. I can process wood in the summer. And guys, I get too hot, man. I'm like a ball of fire. And it's funny because I don't know if am I eating something in my diet, which I'm not that cold when I go outside now, but today it's not. It's below freezing, and I brought a jacket with me. Well, went out to hang out with my daughter, and I didn't even put on my jacket. I have a t-shirt on, and or I had a t-shirt on, I had a hoodie on, right? And I was outside for just a little bit, and wasn't really feeling the cold. But I've noticed a number of times when I go out there, I've been working at the shop late, and I go outside to hang out because I have the wood stove going. It gets hot in there, and because I give off so much heat, I go outside and to chill out, and it didn't seem that cold. But anytime I went outside so far, and we've had a couple cold snaps, I just doesn't seem that cold to me, man. Usually the cold hits me pretty good, So the heat and the cold hit me. It's not like I'm comfortable with one. When some people say, "Oh, well, the summer's too hot, you should like the winter," or "The winter's too cold, you should like the summer," right? It's like extreme temperatures in both seasons. I don't like any of that, man. In the winter I can't split wood because my hands get frozen, and you can't get good enough gloves that where you could where they're abrasion resistant, to any real capacity, cut resistant, right? And why I say that is because you go through so many gloves from all the wear and tear and all the grips. It's mainly the right glove because usually I'm either holding the log splitter handle. Well, sorry, that's with the right hand that I'm using the log splitter, but with the chainsaw, I'm holding a lot of wood with my right hand. So, and with the scrap metal too, right? I'm holding tools and breaking stuff down, and I'm holding the metal, moving stuff around with that. So the right glove always wears out. But it's hard to get a good pair of winter gloves for firewood that's cut resistant or cut proof. So, say something like Teflon. Then you have to have the insulation. Then you have to have waterproof because in the winter, if your wood's covered in snow, it's all going to melt. And then, that melting gets into your hands, right? And those fluorescent gloves, fluorescent orange or fluorescent yellow, they have the rubber tips, but then on the back of the hand, they're all cloth. So what happens sometimes is as you keep moving the wood, the snow piles up in your hands and it just melts in your hands and starts freezing your hands. So you need the cut proof or resistance. You need the waterproof. You need the insulated for the cold weather. But the thing is, when you're putting all those things together, are you going to have a set of gloves where you can articulate your fingers as well to deal with the wood? Because I tried doing like you get those little like cotton mitts, those the ones like usually girls wear them, right? They're almost like a sock, but they same kind of sock material. And so I put those on. Then I put what else? I can't even remember because that's so long ago. I tried to do like the three gloves thing, right? But I put on a second pair of gloves, and then I get those big orange, like rubbery, like hazmat gloves, and then you just can't articulate your fingers. So I gave up on that, with trying to split wood in the cold. If it's not windy, I don't mind working in the cold. If it's not below zero too far, if it's right around freezing point or 0 Celsius, I can work in that, right? But yeah, once it gets too cold, and I just can't do it, guys. It's only my hands. Like the rest of my body's fine, even my feet, right? Not cold, but I can't do it in the hard winter. And then in the summer, like I can't even do wood when it's 20 degrees. Like say like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Like that's even still too hot. If it's overcast or something, the sun's not out, maybe I could get away with it then, but like I'm sweating pretty much from when I start working. So it's yeah, firewood really is like a fall and spring season thing for me. Let's go through the chats here. Um, Let me see. Okay, we got people talking about the likes. Um, Up to 17 now. Yeah, I see that 17. Um, James says recently switched my cell phone from Rogers with the Freedom Mobile. I liked it, but the reception isn't as good in remote areas. Yeah, well, guys, I was just in Campbellford and I didn't have reception, and I've always had reception up there. I don't get it. And so, like I said, that's 2 hours east northeast from here, and a good ways west of there. I wonder how far. Maybe 45 minutes west of there is, and just a tiny bit north is Peterborough, the city, and they have a cell phone tower there. And then from Campbellford towards the southeast in Belleville, there's a Telus tower there. And I don't remember ever having a problem with my cell phone going up to Campbellford. I got like the odd message would come in here, you get some reception, phone goes off and whatnot. But phone calls, forget it, right? But I was just up there for a night, that's not a problem. But the up at, excuse me, Chandos Lake, no problem. That's in the Highlands too. So I'm above like the cell phone towers. I don't know why I have reception there. And then 1 hour east of there is a lake that I go to for the bass fishing, and that's also in Highlands. And I don't have much reception there, right? I'll be out on the lake, and then every once in a while, messages will come in, and once in a blue moon, the phone will ring, and I'll be like, "Yeah, hey, sorry, I don't have reception. Send me a text message, right? I'm away, bad reception." Yeah, I'm pissed off of that, guys, cause like I run my business. You know what I mean? Oh, what is it? What did that message say? Batteries heating up. Oh, you know what? Let me move the phone away from the laptop too. That's probably causing a heat problem. Ooh, yeah. So guys, if it does cut out, then yeah, it's because of that. So let me just try and move this over here and prop something up against it so that I don't have a problem later. What can I use here? I got my camera pack here. Let's see how that works. And I'll back up a bit because I'm a little bit close now. A little bit unlevel. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, because I have my own business, I need to